Hi, my name is Anastasia and I'm from everywhere. So I was born in the USSR, Soviet baby. So while I was growing up, I always had this assumption that, I didn't really have a home because I was born pretty close to the collapse, and obviously the USSR no longer exists. And that culture, those people, it's not really the same. So I always just had this understanding that I can't really ever go home because it just wouldn't be the same at all. And yeah, it's a little bit painful. And so throughout my life, I've lived in a few places. I moved to the US fairly young when I was 7. And in my college years, I lived in Paris, France, and now I live in Seoul. So I've lived in 4 countries and traveled to many more, and traveling was obviously a great experience, a great learning experience, linguistically, culturally, to be sure. But I think most importantly, traveling really challenged my convictions about home. And so I began to have this changing narrative about what home is and what home is to me. So instead of having this narrative of, oh, I don't have a home, I kind of started feeling like, well, I do, and home is anywhere and everywhere. And I had this experience because of the personal connections I had with people. So when I first moved to the US, my classmates, the tiny people in my class, my teachers, just strangers that my family met, they made me feel so welcome. And I think because of them, immigrant life was so much more enjoyable and less terrible than it could have been. And so I really felt welcome. And I remember having that feeling even at a young age. I remember totally recognizing that feeling of this human connection of people who are different from me but were willing to accept me and show me something. And I had the same experience when I was living in Paris much later in my life during college. So during my university years, I lived there with an elderly couple. And oh, they're so adorable. And I lived with them right in their home, and they had been married forever. Very old school French. What they call Français de souche, like very bourgeois, conservative, like love Sarkozy, hated Russians so much, and were very open about it. But they really came to love me. And the grandmother I was living with even told me, I really care about you. I really love you. And she'd almost feel apologetic about the way she felt about my people. So it was quite funny, but really touching too. They really integrated me in their family life and just made me feel so welcome. And I think that really definitely impacted the kind of experience I had in Paris. I never really felt like I was visiting there. I felt I was living there. This is my home. I feel like there's a piece of my heart that is there, that is home. And so, it was an amazing experience, and it's like it was happening again to me, but in a different time and in a different country. And then when I moved to Seoul, I had a similar experience. Even though it was a completely different experience, I still found people who accepted me like family, who took me in, who taught me so much, who shared food with me and customs and words. And it was both hilarious and awkward and strange and confusing at times. And really, I think at the end of the day, it's really comforting, because even though all these experiences in these different countries, they were so different, obviously, you can't really compare them, they're also so much the same. And the feeling of this sort of cultural transcendence, this acceptance, and this idea of universal humanity, this universal humanity. We're really all the same. As much as we're so different, we have different languages and cultures and customs, we're really all the same. And I found that people really just want the same things. Speaking to my friends here about their hopes and dreams, speaking to my friends in Paris, my American friends, even my friends who shared my Soviet experience, we all kind of hope for the same things. We just want to have, good lives. We want everything to be okay. We want to feel like we're good at something. We want to feel like we're masters in our craft. We want to feel like people appreciate the unique skills that we bring to the table, and of course we want to feel loved. So that's really the same in any language. And I think realizing this and really living it, not just realizing it, but experiencing it, has brought me so much comfort, because I really feel that home is, I don't want to say home is where the heart is, it's a cliche, but home really is with you all the time. Like it's something it's something that you travel with. It's something that you bring with you, and it's an incredibly comforting thing to realize that, you know, in whatever corner of the earth you're in, you can find a home there if you want to.